Okay. So in this Sthita Prajna Lakshanam, as we are coming through, and in the last class we finished up to shloka number 59, isn't it? Rasavarjam. And that was a bit of a uh, context where we will continue today's class as well. And that context was in terms of, I mean, the Sthita Prajnaha, first three verses were his Lakshanas. That is verse number um, 55, 56, 57, right? The three 55, 56, 57. And then in 58 he also said, look, to get to that, how he is kind of so well controlled, and in his thing is they compared to a tortoise. But then Krishna thought about it and said, look, tortoise, yes, it kinds of controls, or it pulls back all its organs out of fear. So then he wanted to kind of get into having a principle by which an aspirant like all of us, or a practitioner like all of us, could, because he knows our starting points are not, we are not Sita Prajna. And though he has defined the ideal aspects of him, like how he doesn't dukesh anudbigna manaha, sukesh vigadaspraha. So he has set this standards very high up there. So we kind of think there is some standard up and do it, because it is our mental framework in which the context we are there, and Krishna accepts that, Krishna knows that. But having said that, he is trying to say, look, yes, now you having given an example like a tortoise, and we wanting to pull the organs, or that we don't want to shun away from the external realities by which we are all bound from different births and different circumstances, or different locations, everything you can put it, we know. So Krishna wants to say, look, this cannot be suppressed. It is not it's not something that you can forcefully do it like how a tortoise does, because it's just only an example. But that does out of fear. He does not want you to do out of fear. Basically, because if fear is the goal of, that God will punish you, or that, or a reward, fear and reward both go hand in hand. So he does not want to take that as the cause for this, in control of yourself, put it like that, not just organs, control of yourself. He wants that, and the whole teaching is so that it is driven by proper conviction, and that the goal is set by conviction, and that it is all the samatva buddhi yoga. Karma yoga is driven by buddhi yoga, and he wants that foundation. So that is where Krishna wanted to say in the previous one, 59, less that if somebody were to control that from the Vishayaha, niraharasya, the one doesn't want to consume this from the external world, that fellow is the Vishayaha vinivartante, the external objects of things, the world. If you think that has gone, it has gone, but for the rasavarjam, meaning to say, but for the is reminiscence of that lingering taste, rasa is taste, the taste of the lingering of that what he has experienced before, that is still there. So the whole thing is from the root it should go. Okay, the jnanam is there, but there is some planted seeds there, but plus there is some attraction. So attraction means the one that is trying to pull you as such, right? And but he says param drishtva api rasaha api asya param drishtva nivartate. But drishtva, if having seen that param, meaning to say, so then what is the ideal way that this whole thing, the seeds that is sown, or the reminiscence of that taste, plus that hankering for the external object desire, if both can be done, he says param drishtva nivartate, that if it is fin. So the param is what? That ultimate. He says the param is just nothing but to see that I am that Brahman, that the happiness, or that particular Brahman or Ishvara and everything is that it is me. Only then the fear will go. Meaning to say, only with that Advaita Sakshatkaram, the absolute fear will go. So, and so that param drishti, param drishtva means paradrishti. Param drishti is that which is that paraha, the ultimate of everything. That drishtva meaning to say seeing in himself, not outside. That, and how to see that inside is, it is not that something that you can close the eyes and think. It is that one that comes with the knowledge, and that knowledge itself is you. Because see, there are two things. It can be very, there is one, we used to call it what, Drik Drishya Viveka. There is one beautiful, one book itself is there, a big Vedanta book, how that, a seer, that's why we call the great realized people like Ramakrishna Paramsa great seers, we say, the seers of truth. The seers of truth means it's not that they have seen something in the sky that we can't see. It is just that they are seer means that they are the paradrishti, drishtavan. So they are the ones for whom the one that is seen, that is that Atman Pratyagatma, is they themselves. So they don't, their attention, that's all. It is not just that a vision that we have with the eyes. It is that knowledge. See, the thing is like this, very easy. It can be very easily be explained. You can never see yourself, right? Even though you see through the mirror, even though with the eyes, whatever it is, it's only a reflection, and there's always a parallax error. So you're really not seeing yourself at any time, right? But you are yourself. Nobody has to show you from the mirror that it is you, right? You are yourself. That means the one that, even from a physical form, forget about that sukshma, that is so subtle. You are ever seen by yourself. You cannot be seen through other means of any faculties or any instrument. That knowledge, and in that only you are seeing the others. It is only your focus of in your focus of attention. And that person, the paradrishti, is the one who has seen that Brahman or the Atman in himself and in everybody. Meaning to say, how he sees that is his own attachment to his own identity with the body and mind is slowly lost by the Viveka Buddhi. Okay, that's why he says Param Drishtva Nivartate. Though it is so what can I say, capsulated, that's quite a bit of meaning there. And how to get that paradrishti is what, and how to control, then how to so he has again set a bit of a standards high. So then how do we control? Because you are saying that suppression is not, because by suppressing this or by forceful control, it's never going to fetch any fruit. And that's not our administration of any practice in Gita and by Bhagavan. So instead of suppression, what Bhagavan is trying to say in our relative knowledge is sublimation. Remember, I told you, like, how a plant is there and how it is shielded initially, and then you can remove that sublimation. How? Because it has been, that is what in the other verses that you will see today. Okay, not suppression, but sublimation, if you want to put it that way. And how that automatic one, because that, and how to develop that knowledge and this control together is what Bhagavan is trying to say today. So Ramesh, can you chant after me? I'll just unmute you. Ramesh Bhaiya? Okay.
Yes.
60. Yatato hyapi kaunteya.
Yatato hyapi kaunteya. Yatato hyapi
Ramesh, I can't
kaunteya.
hear you. Are you getting a problem with the mic or? Ramesh, I can't hear you.
I had unmuted myself, sir.
Or is it my
You still can't hear
thing?
I have unmuted myself.
Yeah, we can hear Ramesh.
Is it my mic, is it?
Yeah,
I can't hear anyone. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I'll send you a chat message.
We can hear you.
No?
We can, yes. We can hear everyone.
Just I can't hear you too. Okay,
We can hear.
Some problem with my 1 second. Sorry about that. We can hear Ramesh also, yes.
Can you hear
Okay.
me now?
It's my 1 second. Aha. Simple fool. Yeah. Ramesh, can you speak now?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah,
My God. It's my stupid thing. Sorry about that. Yeah. So okay, Ramesh. I had muted myself. I don't know when did that happen? Okay. Yatato hyapi kaunteya.
Yatato hyapi kaunteya. Yatato hyapi kaunteya.
Purushasya vipaschitaha.
Purushasya vipaschitaha. Purushasya vipaschitaha.
Indriyani pramatini.
Indriyani pramathini. Indriyani pramathini.
Haranti prasabham manaha.
Haranti prasabham manaha. Haranti prasabham manaha.
Okay. So the upayam and the means what Krishna says with this particular one. And here he says, let's say number 1, hey Kaunteya, hey Arjuna, he says, Kaunteya, because means here because that the seeds are not removed. Okay, because he means in because rasavarjam. Because the rasam is not removed. That's the main thing. The rasa is gone, it's not going to bother you, right? It's going to repel you. Or repel means you will not be attracted. And here that's what he will tell you as going more. Neither attraction nor repulsion, both are not good. What you think is now is not of an interest because you repel, but sometime it can become later. So that's what he's going to say both. He neither hates it nor rankers for it. That he will go more into that one. And that is the one that he's saying. Because the rasavarjam is that to remove that, he says, number 3, pramatini indriyani. Pramatini indriyani yatataha. The yatataha is the person there. Yati. Like, yata means to prayatnam, to one that is struggling. That yatram karoti. Who is doing this pramotam? That person who is trying to kind of, shun himself away from this. No, I'm not going to see this. I'm not going to let this thought come. That kind of a person who is trying to control it. That person, for him, for yatataha, for that person, he says, pramatini indriyani. Pramatini means, that pramatana means, it is churning, like, the nutri bullet, you put it like, like a nutri bullet that follows churning inside. Whatever you put, indriyani, all the indriyam, and so, in that Tamil, they'll say, the kadayar, mattu mari kadayar mari, ullu ukkandu kadayum ukkandu, manasa ukkandu, buddhi. Sorry, I just got it in Tamil. That's how that gets pramatini. So indriyani pramatini yatataha. It's so much, it's tormenting him all the time. Because he's the rasam. The rasam is doing, because he says the rasam is going to cause you more trouble than the object should have really gone there. You understand? So he's caught in between. Oh, if I go, Krishna says, no, Gita, yes, I should not eat onion today. If I eat onion, it is rasam. It is rasaguna. Oh God, it'll go. No onion, go away. But then somebody will say, no, this onion bhaji is so good. You must taste it. And then the onion and your Gita and everything is, they're fighting with one another. Then the night, you think, yeah, I think I can have today one onion bhaji. What is really good? I'm not going to become a Rajaguna. Something say, just saying from our context, Then you go in the night after 10 o'clock and then, have it. Something like that I'm saying, because it has really churned you better the bed, Something like that. So what I'm saying is that Indriyani Pramatini for him one. And he says, Arjuna, Krishna says, and these are all for the person who is self-controlling harshly. That's what this slok verse is about. Yatataha api, he, because Kaunteya, because by that rasam, the rasam is there, that rasam, indriyani pramatini, all the 5 senses, yatataha, by that person who is doing, and Arjuna, vipaschitaha. Here vipaschitaha means you should not take it as a param drishtva. Param Drishtva also you can take it as Vipaschitaha, means one was very clearly seen. Here it should be taken as a Medavi. One was very well read. The more you read, the problem here, what he says is, the more you read, more it is going to churn. Yes. Vipaschitaha, what Krishna says, Vipaschitaha Purushasya, number 7, Manaha api. That is, Vipaschitaha Purushasya Manaha api Prasabham Haranti. What are you? Krishna saying. Meaning to say, even a Medavi was read so much. For him also, for that guy, Vipaschitaha Purushasya, of that person too, his mind is Prasabam Haranti. Prasabam means with the force, like a big force. Haranti takes it, repulses, pulls it away. So we should not take this as a justification to let it go. That's one thing, first thing. Krishna is not saying that you should let it go. What Krishna is saying by this is that it is very important for you to take sublimation. So this is again a verse to take it as sublimation, not for suppression. And there is another beautiful verse I have to read from you, from Viveka Chudamani, which is very nice, and I will send it to you later because I couldn't get it. There also Adi Shankara says, when it comes to the sadhana, the one who is doing sadhana for the vairagyam that he wants to do, that he says, Shabdadi pancha bireva pancha panchadvamapu swagunena baddha puranga matanga patanga mina bringanara pancha biranchita kim. So what he says is, the five senses, right? So he compares to the whole drishti. In that, say five sense of organs means this nose, mouth, the eyes and ears and the skin. So he says, look, in the creation, sorry, I have to, somebody have to mute. Somebody have to mute. Who is that?
Oh my God, no, I'm not here. Sorry.
It's okay. Okay, thank you. So he says, see, for example, in the creation, Kurangas, he says there are these five senses in reality is how the animals are, or in the creation, you have this, deer. Deer is so attracted to sound only. By sound, that's what it gets a flute, and one deer gets to attracted, the other one by they make some kind of a sound, shabda. Shabda is the one that can attract the deer and it can get killed very easily. And that also they get drawn between each other. And the elephant is by sparsha, touch. That is, these senses act the strongest in these animals, and which lead them to their death also. Deer by sound, elephant by touch. And then this what do you call that? The fly which fly in the night fly, the one that goes into the light and falls and dies. For that, anything with the light, anything by light, by eyeing, looking at it, looking at the light, it thinks that's something that wants to go and eat, and it just falls on the fire and dies. Yeah, so that is one particular, that fly, whatever that fly, I didn't get. And fish, by its tongue, it is all the time in its mouth. By its tongue only, it just dies. It eat anything. So the man who puts a hook also, it doesn't see the hook, but it goes for the prey and gets caught. Fish, it doesn't even see, just always want to open the mouth, then it gets caught, and fish gets tied by the mouth. And the bee by the smell, the flower. To such an extent, sometimes you can open up a flower, the smell is so good, you'll find the bee dead in that. Sometimes I pluck my tulsi flower and that is still there, but it is dead because it come to that one. But he says, at least these ones are only drawn by one sense. And he says, what about this fellow human being? All his five senses are as powerful of all of them. His eyes are, mouth is more powerful than a fish. Your skin is much powerful than an elephant. So he says, what about this animal, the I felt called human, whose five senses are all combined together? It is like that what he says. And I was just I think the next one will be good. Yeah, no, there I'll say, the other day was same thing. I was saying how the senses and how we get tormented by this particular Maya, the way things get torched, and but we keep going on that. I was going to that Monaville beach last weekend, and there was a guy with his ball, and the two dogs he has, kelpie, I think there's kettle dogs, and he would have the ball, he'll just throw it to the ocean, and these two dogs will really go swim in the ocean and get it. And the two dogs, one dog was, I think both of them, I was talking to the guy, how have you trained? He said, I've trained them in the pub, so they're not afraid to go and swim in the ocean and go get it. But one of them is much quicker. That will go take the ball, come back to the shore and actually drop it, and the other dog will pick it up. It's so kind, both of it. It's not saying I'm the first, like us. But this fellow will always be the first to go get it. And at one point, the ball went so high, and the dog knew he couldn't go any further. And he came back and he's looking at the thing and barking. Then he says, don't worry, he threw another ball. Now he's going after this. So then I was saying, we are just nothing but same like this. And he does not know why it is going to take the all its want is go take the ball, put it into the master's feet. So the mind, so because that's why manaha, the mind is what Krishna is going to say. Mind is a good servant, but not a good master. The problem happens when we make mind a master. As far as we can keep the mind a good servant, the mind is like a dog. The minute, the dog, if you don't pamper him keep him properly under control, he will be your master. We have seen that, right? The dog's pulling you away to glory. So the mind is like that. It will just go take it and put it back. And then he'll ask you, where's the next ball? It will take you. It is like that. And that one that throwing, that is nothing but Maya, the Maya Devi. He's just throwing balls after balls, and we are going and coming and getting back. That's all we know. So that's what I'm saying, the Pramati Balavat Manaha. So what Krishna is saying is, look, I'm giving you, because the mind, to take it into a diversion mode. That's what Krishna says here. KKG, you want to chant after me?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah. Tani sarvani sanyamya.
Tani sarvani samyamya.
So twice.
Tani sarvani samyamya.
Yukta asita matparaha.
Yukta asita matparaha.
Twice.
Yukta asita matparaha.
Vashehi yasyendriyani.
Vasehi yasyendriyani. Vasehi yasyendriyani.
Tasya prajna pratisthita.
Tasya pragya pratishtita. Tasya pragya pratishtita.
So Krishna gives a very easy way of sublimation in this particular verse. What he says, Tani Sarvani. Tani Sarvani means Tani Sarvani Indriyani and also Vishayani. If you think, So what he says is that all those organs of actions or your knowledge and everything, all of them samyam. In this samyam means what he's saying is having them as a properly dedicated with a sat buddhi. Samyam, with a sat buddhi, that with that conviction of knowledge along with that together, samyamya yukta. That's why yukti is coming. Whenever there is a yukti, that is always driven by logic and also by the buddhi being on top, not manaha. Buddhi is the one which is giving you that yukti. So buddhi yukta samyamya, buddhya yukta samyamya. So this person, having done that particular complete grasping, that this cannot be suppressed, but that I can certainly divert my mind and also take it to him, whom matparaha, number 5. Now that matparaha is what is very important. Why is it so? The question sometimes people ask, why matparaha? Is Krishna then also asking me to be a fanatic? That, no. Here what Krishna wants to say matparaha is, he says, aham vasudevaha iti. That you are that Lord Vasudeva, but in that form that I can reflect myself, or the form that you wish that you to be reflected in. And in that, what he says is, matparaha also is, chittam paro yasya saha matparaha. That chittaha, that ultimate Atman, that this Atman, this Atma, that I as an identity is nothing but where this whole source of happiness that all the time that I'm drawing. And then again, superimposing on other one, that bhukti is always there for you. But what Krishna says is, this is very easily attained. Taking my form, taking that particular form that suits you, taking the name that it suits you. That is why sometimes we say, matparaha asita. That asita also defaults, as it just Arjuna asks, kim asita, kim vrjeta. That kim asita, this is the kind of answer. But katam asita, this one is saying. He also said, kim asita, how the Siddha Prajna, how he is all the time is seated, or however he is positioned. But here he says, katam asita, Krishna is giving the upayam, matparaha asita, yukta asita. With that, buddhi pradhanam jnana dwara, that is that because the mind needs something to grasp, let that mind to grasp me. That's all he says. And matparaha asita. Then number 7, he, because he says, indeed he, yasya, that particular one that who is sitting like this, right? Yasya, of those like the said above, okay, yasya, indriyani vashe. Indriyani vashe. Vashe here means when you say, when it is being properly in that control of himself into the Lord. Vashe. Okay, in that one has been well controlled. Mana samyamya. That samyama means you have to do. That samyama vashe, in that well controlled with the buddhi, in that state in which it is there in matparaha, with that pratyagatma into vasudevaha, vashe, in that control when it is there, vashe, 11, 12, and 13. Tasya prajna pratishtita. For that person, the prajna, his knowledge and his automatic sense of happiness, the sense of solitude and that quietness, pratishtita, stands to be peaceful all the time. It sublimes. Pratishtita. Now it is sublimed, but not it is suppressed. And for all this verse 61 is only the rest of the karma yoga, atma samyama yoga. In all those things we are going to say. And the same thing, the verse number 60 also, you can put it as a reference for chapter number 6, where in, I think verse number 33 or 34, Arjuna will ask same thing to Krishna. There also he says, Indriya Pramati, he will also say, right? Yoyam yogastvaya proktaha samyena madhusudana tasyaham na pranashyami sanchalatva sitim sanchalam himana Krishna pramati balavadridam pramati. There also pramati, here also pramati. Same word. Sanchalam hi manah Krishna. Manaha, hey Krishna, my manam is all the time sanchalaha. You are saying samyamanam, or samatva buddhi and everything, but mind is never coming from the samyamanam. It never comes to that one. Pramati balabhadridam tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva dushkaram. He says, this mind is like a yar. Vayoriva dushkaram. Kata pudichu adaki vakka mudiyuma? Something like that. When you say, can you take up your mind is so much like a wind. How can I put it in a container? How can I contain it? You cannot. So he says, and Krishna says, asamshayam mahabhaho manodur nigraham chalam abhyase nut kaunteya vairagena cha grihyate. There also he said, asamshayam mahabhaho. Yes, no doubt. Manaha is like the vayu. But that chapter all will be giving you a lot of Atma Samyama Yogam. And there, when he goes into that, he will. What I'm saying is this 60 is then explained in further portion of Gita. That's what I'm trying to make a reference. And there he says again, the connection between Indriyani and the Manam is Prana. So that is why he says, so you do the prana, that they like we do pranayamam in Ashtanga Yoga. That is why Ashtanga Yoga, before that, even when you want to do a quieten your mind through the japa or something, they do pranayama. Because by the pranayama means that control. By the pranayama, by that breath control, mind automatically sublimes for temporarily. Not that it is not for removing the seed rasavarjam, but these are all the upayam in different portions of Gita that I'm trying to say, where Krishna will say you will give a shanai ruparam he buddhya dhriti grihitaya atma samstam mana kritva na kinchitapi chintaye. There also he says Atma Samstam Mana Kritva. That Atma Samstam is this Matparaha. Na Kinchitapi Chintaye. Don't have to worry about it. And in chapter 12, in Bhakti Yogam, he says, Teshamaham Samudharta. That I will lift you. So you see, the upayam is there in so many of these. And also, our scriptures never refutes for in these senses if they are taken in the dharmika manner. Okay, but even in the dharmika manner, the dharmika means it's moral aspect, and however we have to enjoy the senses or for what it is got some duties to do. Because while performing these duties, they are part and parcel of the nature. Nobody can escape. Krishna knows that. But after doing a bit of a time, like the dog which goes and keep on fetching the ball, that we see that futility of that, then we say, look, now I let somebody else go fetch the ball. All right, I'm going to delegate it, and probably you all have your thing. So that kind of a and that you try to reduce your commitments and your attachments. That's what all the yoga, karma yoga is all about. And that's what he will tell you even more in this. Though this particular one is so easily said, Tani Sarvani Samyamya, which will be explained in further all of the chapters. And then Krishna says, if this kind of thing is not, because the whole thing is about Sita Prajna, right? So that is why he says, Tasya Prajna Pratishtita, to tell you that, look, you can also become a Sita Prajna. It's not that it is something built in a castle. You can even today try. So that is why Krishna's thing was today is like this. And then he says, but where one may fail in the sublimation, Krishna wants to say this verse number 62, 63, which I will say in detail today, and we'll do a kind of together. And then Ramamurthy sir, you want to Krishna Kumar or his Krishna Kumar Ramamurthy? Somebody was not said for a long time. Nandini ji, I think you have not you're not said for long.
Sure.
Okay. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha.
ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः
Sangasteshu Pajayate.
Sangastethu prajayate Sangastethu prajayate
Pajayate, not pra, it's pa.
Pajayate Sangastethu
Pajayate.
prajayate
Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha. Continue, Nandini ji.
Sorry,
Nandini?
can you say that again?
Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha.
Sangat sanjayate kama
Again?
kamaha
Again? Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha. Once more, please.
Sangat sanjayate kamaha
Very good.
Sangat
Kamat.
sanjayate kamaha
Very good. Kamat Krodho Bijayate.
Kamat krodho bijayate Kamat krodho bijayate
One more sloka because both will be together. Krodhat Bhavati Sammohaha.
Krodhat bhavati sammoha Krodhat bhavati sammoha
Very good. Sammohat Smriti Vibhramaha.
Sammohat smriti
Vibramaha.
Bramaha. Sammohat smriti
Vibramaha. Vibramaha. Vibramaha.
Bramaha.
சொல்லும்போது விப்ரமம் வருது பார்த்தீங்களா? அதான் மோகத்துடைய மகிமை. சம்மோகாத் ஸ்மிருதி விப்ரமஹா.
Sammohat smriti Bramaha.
ஆ.
Sammohat smriti Bramaha.
ஸ்மிருதி பிரம்ஷாத் புத்திநாசஹா.
Smriti
ஷாத்
Bramshat Buddhi
நாச
Nasho
நாசஹா.
Nashaha.
ஒன்ஸ் மோர். ஸ்மிருதி பிரம்ஷாத் புத்திநாசஹா.
Smriti Bramshat Buddhi Nashaha.
வெரி குட். புத்திநாசாத் பிரணஷ்யதி.
Buddhinashat pranashyati. Buddhinashat pranashyati.
Okay, so I'm going to straight away take this into a kind of what Krishna says is, he says, look, and as we said in Gita, Krishna gives you a beautiful functional kind of aspects of it, gives you the guidance and let you make the decision and do the steps what you want. And in this 60, in the verse number 62, 63, he very clearly says the internal working mechanism as how you are getting, like the dog going behind the ball, bringing back, going back, bringing the ball to the master. And why I said the mind is a better master, sorry, better slave than a master. And Buddhi is the one, again he'll say. So let me do this and a kind of a 9 steps of order, what he says here. Sorry, I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to do here. What I will do is, I will let you do this on this one so that I can see if you are doing it properly here. I will give you a chalk. So it is your, here. You want to do it? I'll let you do. And I will do them in the notebook so I can see if you are able to do, you can do that. And you got to have some 9 words going one down the other. Okay, and I'm going to open up. Last time I couldn't, so I think my Visio should be there. Visio is good for this. Yeah, my Visio should be good. I like Visio. So then we'll go into Anvayam, because I think first when we do this, and then if we, yeah, basic shapes is fine. So Krishna says, see Arjuna, the first is a thought. He says, look, the thought. Or before the thought, we say there's a Vishayan. Vishayan means say material objects. Anything is an object. So Vishayan, though you can write that Vishayan. Vishayan means that's in Vishayan is Vishayaha. Vishayaha is better. Vishayaha is always the material objects outside. The material objects outside could be everything. Don't just take inanimate. Husband, wife, that's the first material object for us. Okay. That's the first one, the closest one, which we spend most of the time. So material objects outside. Okay, material objects, all of them. Objects, put it like objects of attraction. Put it that way, much better. Vishayaha, objects of attraction. Or even dispel. Actually, I should not even put distraction. It can also be dispel, a dispel thing. Could be your neighbor. That guy is so much giving you problem. He's not letting you sleep. So objects outside, objects or persons outside. Okay, so that is one thing. Then from there, okay, then from there, he says, then he says, on these objects, okay, what we do is a repeated thinking, repeated thoughts. This is what he's calling here as a dhyayate. Dhyayate. So he's not really meditating, but dhyayate, but I will put it as I'll put the same meaning. So same word, I'll just write it like that. So repeated thinking. That's what we do, right? In repeated thoughts. Repeated thoughts. Then after that, Is it a bit visible for you? Maybe it's very small. I will make it a bit bigger. No. Sorry.
Yeah, this is better. This is better.
Yeah. Then I can always send it to you. Okay, no problem. Then what he says is, after the repeated thoughts of this particular one, person, object of anything, then he says, after repeated thoughts, of these repeated thoughts, that causes you sanjayatah. So first is Vishayan, then dhyayatah. Okay, then Pumsaga is the person, anybody, human. Okay, Sangaha. Sangaha is the, no, not Sangaha. Yes, Sangaha. Then here comes Sangaha. Sangaha is basically that particular, now slowly with that repeated thoughts, what this has now gone with you is either attachment. That attachment is attachment or both types, right? Attachments are both type, desire and hate, both. Desire and hate, both. That has now started. Okay. Then after that, he says, I think I should put number, that's better as well. Number one, Vishayaha. Number two, repeated thoughts. Krishna is going to give you that, look, in all these places, you have your free will. Okay. After that, attachments of desire or hate, I'll afterwards arrange all these things for you. Don't worry. We were in third. Now the fourth one, right? Now he says, your kamaha, it starts. Kamaha. Now kamaha is really both. Here is actually kamaha is the hate actually. Attachment is okay. Kamaha is really the desire and hate. Both desire and hate. And the sangaha attachment is Trishna, really, a Trishna or a, what can we say, hankering, yeah, attachment. Here is number 4. So from that karma, what it does, when the desire and the hate starts happening, for both of them, Krishna says that he has built a default, what did I say? He says it has got everything starts sowing its own seeds. The next, because one starts to, it is like that, they start protecting the one up, putting it that way. So the karma then takes care of by protecting itself by putting the next seed called anger, krodha. The krodha, now one may wonder why, how can a krodha be for something that you desire? The krodha desire comes in such a manner that if you don't get it, it's anger, or if that other one which you hate doesn't go, also it's anger. So that is why krodha is so important for us in our shastras. So he says the krodha, anger, the karma always plants a krodha. And he says you can always reverse engineer from one to the other. That's also the beauty of these particular teachings, And that, so the anger for a desire is planted if it is not obtained. And if the anger is also there if that hated object is not removed. And then And after Krodha, he says, now what he says is sammohaha. Now your moha, that the Maya attachment, he says, that you are now caught very well. This is where the real moham happens. And not just a mere moham, he says sammohaha. Well, well, what can I say? You're grasped by. Now you're out of control. Okay. Now the control is lost. Okay. Well grasped by the object. Well grasped by object. Loss of control. Now loss of control starts. Now once the loss of control starts, because the mind is now overpowering. So the mind is overpowering because of this. And the mind is, when the mind overpowers this, he says, now all the yukti that you've been having for before, yeah, but now what's happening is that loss of memory, as if you have forgotten. Actually, you have not forgotten. So now he says, Smriti Brahmshaha. Smriti Brahmshaha. Brahmshaha. So what Smriti Brahmshaha means, it is all that knowledge that you have learned, that it seems to not work, and also the teachings and all the, so this is what it is, that loss of all your power of conviction, loss of power of conviction, or loss of power of conviction, no, loss of knowledge is better. Loss of knowledge, application as well. And then he says, Krishna, I'll correct all these things and then he says, after that, Smriti Brahmshat Buddhi Nashaha. Now he says, Buddhi Nashaha. Buddhi Nashaha means now the Buddhi is now, mind has taken over the, mind has completely taken over the Buddhi. So now your dog has become the master. Now the dog has become the master. Master is gone. And because the dog has become the master, Buddhi Nashat Pranashyati. When the Pranashyati, Bhagavan uses this here, Pranashyati means here, what he says is, your goal of human life is gone. Goal of human life is depleted, rather. It can be revived, but everywhere there is a revival chance. Everywhere there is a revival chance. But what he says is, Purushartho Ayogyo Bhavati, he says. Purushartho Ayogyo Bhavati means not only for moksha, that even for normal enjoyments, yet he is not able to now do it in a normal manner. That is when, like, he becomes like a, what is it, Duryodhana, all the people. So this Krishna says is the one in these 9 steps, or the 9 sequence of order. I will send it to you in maybe too small, isn't it, to see that? Yeah, I will send it to you in JPEG file with bit more example. So this is what Krishna is trying to explain there, and we'll go back to the. So now if we go back to the Very good, sir. Thank you. Yatish Bhai also has done it in the slate. I will after that send it to you. So we'll now go back to the shloka. It's kind of, this is what Krishna's exactly saying. Now we'll analyze a little bit more into that one. And this is in everybody's, oh, my battery is low. I didn't even connect my battery. So this is what Bhagavan says here. Jaya Vishayan, number one, Vishayan, or the external objects of anything outside us, okay? And Pumsa, Vishayan, Jayate, Jayato in Jayataha, Pumsaha. They are human being. And by that continuous thoughts. So what Krishna says is, in the first time to really, the first place is the very easy place to get these ones quenched. The first thought that which plants the seed, thought itself. Forget about it's good or bad. At that thought, try to get that away. The first thought itself is what is the first like the first click, and that is the one. That is the first one, he says. So so that he says the thought of it is the main thing. And that time you have lots of willpower. See, the thing is also in the order when we go there, what Krishna says, the more and more you leave it on the steps 1, 2, 3, the more and more your suppression goes. The first in the order is easy for you to sublime. So that is why Krishna says, the thought itself, you put it on me. You understand why he is saying this. The beauty of it is, when the thought itself is directed towards me, it is easy for you that you don't have to suppress anything. That is the main aim in this. That's the main part of the teaching. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavrataha. He just said, parasparam bhavayantaha teyah parama bhapsita. So Krishna will say all those things. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam tesham buddhi yogam tadami, he says. In chapter number 10, when he comes. And he says, this is a very easy form and for you to kind of, and he says, what is this mind control and breath control? This is easily done from there. Whereas for you to get the knowledge by your Shramanam and Mananam Nididhyasanam, that is what you got to put a lot of efforts. In this one, leave it to me by depositing it, everything, your action, your thoughts and everything. In the subsequent, every chapter 9, 10, 6, everything you'll see. Sulabha, he will say. So, and then, so here what he says is, so the main thing here, what he want, and this 2 verses will refer up to the chapter 18. At that in chapter different ones, like, so the thought, the first one, when it is all the time deposited in me, yukta asita matparaha, it does not mean that he is saying that the person is sitting in meditation all the time or anything. His thought is there with Krishna. His thought is there with Ishvara, or that Lord, that particular one that you want to have all the time with that particular. And that is initially is only possible, not straight away sitting it as Atman. That it is through an external murti, that external form, that external flower, but that external thing that we do. All those things are very helpful, he says. But in other chapters, that's what, but though he's not said in this one. But then he says, right, then as we go down below and below, Vishayan Pumsaha, Sangasteshu Pajayate, that attachment or that particular to that object, it can also be over if you are a bit more cognizant of that particular attachment, you can know, yes, this person or this particular neighbor is trying to bother me. I think I have to stop thinking. Or that this particular one it is driving me crazy. Probably I should not think about this car, or probably this about this. I can only talk in my terminology. So or this particular object, or this particular person, of anything. It could be anything. He says Sangaha. But Sangaha with Ishvara will never get you any of the ones that is going down below in everything. Okay, Sangaha. Ateshu Pajayate, Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha. Okay, Sanjayate, it's very well born. Kamaha. That's when it comes as a kamaha. So from these we learn from Gita, kama is not just only the desire, hate is also a kama. In fact, half the time it is hate is the kama. Because both of them plant krodha, the anger. So when there is an anger, we should know, okay, this anger is from some kama. Where is that kama coming from? Where that kama or this one is coming from this? Oh, that is because of this. Okay, now is the time to take that thought to Ishvara. And that kamaha, because the krodha is the protector for the kama. And the minute that krodha comes, that he says, even he, Shankara says, even he will be prepared to kick the guru. He goes to such an extent. The anger can take him that much. So anger is the, and that all, even in chapter 17, he'll come and say, right? Dwaraha, for krodha, kamam, krodha, these are the trividam dwaram narakasya. So there also again we apply this particular verse. So Swargasya Dwaram is the not for from all these things, but though we are not interested in Swarga, but the Ishvara's thoughts again takes you through a healthier path. Okay, Krodhat Abhijayate, Krodhat Bhavati sammohaha. Now it is that particular, you are completely drawn and you are in the clutches of that particular object of desire or hate. And with that, what happens is all that we have learned, all that we have done is gone. So then we know with all the knowledge and that I'm acquiring, that Aham Atma Brahma, with all the yukti that that this particular one is what I have got the aparoksha jnanam. Because you see, the thing is, we'll come to that later. Okay, though we have learned even deep why this is going, because of that thought. That's why Krishna says vipaschitaha api, means medavi also, don't forget that. Vipaschitaha api manaha prasabam haranti. So that means more and more we learn these things. We have to be mindful about the mind, that how the mind becomes my servant but not my master. So that is why he said that in number 60. That is a connection between here. And that's why he says Smriti Vibhramaha, that Vipaschitaha, all that one gets lost. So if someone is very well learned, very well done, but then he still becomes ayogya because that particular thought. Smriti Vibhramaha, Smriti Bhramshat, Buddhi Nashaha, that all that intellect and everything now is completely gone. Buddhinashat pranashyati. Pranashyati means prakriti, that what it means. Purushartho ayogyo bhavati, Krishna Shankara says. Meaning it said, the Chaturvida Purushartham, the Chaturvida Purushartham, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. In that, the Kama is actually Dharmasya Kamaha. Even that, because he now goes into a Adharma Kamam, Adharma Artham, everything and all the four Purushartham, he will be devoid of this. So that's what is the essence of this one. These are very good. So I will probably send you this, because this logic very well explained is what we'll also expand in further what can I say, class. If you had a proper whiteboard, it would have been better. But anyway, I try to do something with this year, my best, whatever, with the little time I could. Haji, I will also send it to you. That's simply just to make it more interesting. That's all. So with that, we will stop. Yeah. Om Tat Sat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Sambhade Sankhya Yogo Nama Dvitiyo Dhyayah Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Okay. Ata Gita. Anybody can chant Gita Mahatmyam? I will leave it to your choice. Anybody? Sumati ji?
Do you have it in front of me?
I can share it, no problem. 1 second, ji.
I'll try, because I have not chanted for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, is it okay?
Yep.
I'll leave it to
Yeah.
Darovacha from Darovacha.
Okay. Darovacha Bhagavan Parameshan Bhakti Ravya Prarabdham Bhujyamanasya Katham Bhavati He Prabham.
Prabhu.
Prabho.
Very good.
Shri Vishnuvasa Prakyam
No,
Bhujyam
Prarabdham Bhujyama.
Prarabdham Bhujyamano Hi
Gita
Abhya Sagatah
Sada Samukta
Sasuti Loke Karmana Nopalipyate.
Very good. Mahapapadipa
Papadipapani Gita Dhyanam Karo
Karoti Chet
Kavachit
Kwachit Sparsham
Kwachit Sparsham na kurvanti
Nalini
Nalidalam
Ambu
Udvat Lambutat
Gitaya Pustakam Yatra
Pustakam Yatra Pata Pravartate Tatra Sarvani Tirtani
Prayagadi
Prayaga
Dini
Dini Tatra Vai सर्वे देवाच्य द्रक्षो योगिनः पन्नगाश्चे गोपाला गोपिका नारदोद्व
Parshadai. Okay. Thank you. That's okay. Now, what we will do, I would like to have a chanting class as we are nearing. Could we have next week? I don't know. Is it okay for you girls, but for you all? Because we can, the chanting class means, if you're all here rather than Zoom, we can chant one another and you can hear easily, and then, we can correct. It will be good. Then I can know.
Next week it will be hard, Babuji.
Huh?
Next week it will be hard because we got few.
I know Murali's thing is also there.
Yeah, that's right. And we have something else as well on that day. What about the following week?
Following week we can do, yeah. In fact, following week we'll do.
Yeah. Okay.
Tentative we'll all, because I request you to be all here. That's the main thing, because that chanting like that works much better if you are all here, not through Zoom. Because I can hear you all and then correct you at that 1%, because I can hear all of you chant and I can hear and pay some attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how we improved our chanting in the last session. Okay, na? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Hari Om.
Namaste.
Thank you.